This is a video overview on how to deploy something from Docker's Cloud onto a cloud provider. This is also supposed to be able to do automatic build and automatic testing, but in this case, I'm simply going to go through deployment. There's a number of things, as I mentioned, that you can do. I'll show you what I did, which meant connecting to source code repository, to my cloud provider, creating some nodes, and then running something that's called a stack. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that next. I went first to cloud settings. And as you can see here, one of the first things that I did was connect to GitHub. This will ask you for your credentials. I thought that once I did that, I'd be able to select some code. That turned out to not be the case. And so I followed a different example, as I mentioned originally. I'm simply looking at the case of deployment. Later, I will explore that part. I then selected my cloud provider, which in this case is DigitalOcean. Once you click on the plug button here, it will ask you for your credentials. Now, nicely enough, they also give you a $20 credit, which you can see here. I used that to go to DigitalOcean and apply it. You can see here I have a credit still of $19. I used a little bit of it when I started to test. Now, once I had done that, I went to the nodes and I created a node cluster by default. When you create one of these, you create a cluster. You can see here I'm just simply going to create a dummy one. I won't create it, but I'll show you what you do. You can select here some tags, and then you can select your provider, DigitalOcean. Now, when I select this, it's going to give me a warning to make sure that my pricing is set up right, or my billing. The very first time that I tried it, it didn't work. I had to go around in a couple of cycles, and I think it just takes some time for it to kick in and make sure that everything is okay. The second time I tried it, as I started to say, that worked fine. Then what I did is I selected the cheapest one within DigitalOcean. This is only $5. And then I only set one node. I wanted to make sure that if I missed and I made some mistake, I wouldn't be able to lose too much of that credit that I had. That's all I did. I then did launch node cluster. This takes a few minutes. And it actually creates those instances within DigitalOcean. If I go to my droplets, you'll be able to see that being created there. Now, after I did that, then I went to the stack, and within here, I entered something called a stack file. Now, let me see if I can, yeah, I should be able to view it here. Down here at the bottom, this is what I did. This is, you can think of this as defining your application, and there are 4 repositories that I am checking out. The very first one is a load balancer. The second one is a web app to review the results. This is a web application for voting, a simple voting application, as you will see when I'm done here when I demo this. This one here is to view the results of voting. This one is to vote. And this one is simply a database repository. And so as you can see here, you then give some descriptions for each one of these. This is the load balancer. These are just some configuration settings. As you can see here, all of this is explained in the documentation for Docker. I used one of the samples and modified it for this demo. This one is an important one here. Normally, if you had a voting application as opposed to viewing the viewing application or the database, you might want to have multiple instances of this. And here is where you could list the number of containers. As I showed you, I only specified one, so I only put in one. But if I had done multiples, this is where you would do it. And the load balancer would take care of the balancing. So once I entered that into the window, then I was able to go ahead and run it, and everything was created. So all of my I think the terminology is services that are created here appear there. As you can see there, 30 minutes ago they were created. So I have my voting app, my database app, my results app, and my load balancer. Now I also get the links to where these applications are, and I've gone ahead and opened them back here. Let me go ahead and show you that. There they are. As you can see, that path there is the path that I just showed you. I haven't yet gotten into how do you, well, I think I need to access it this way. I haven't yet gotten into how do you provide pretty names and all of that, but this is simply to demonstrate that you do get it, and this is now up and running. This has been deployed to DigitalOcean. All of those applications have been loaded. All of those images have been loaded as well. The application has been launched, and this is now all fully operational, up and running. And so you can see here right now I have on the voting viewer the results. I'm looking at 100% voting on dogs, and if I change it to cats, you can see there that it changed to cats 100%. If I change it back, then we get dogs 100%. So this is a sample application. The original was created by someone else, and so I was simply able to pull in those containers. And there's a container, as you can see there, for the application, one for the results. Then all separately from that, there's something for load balancing. Separately from that, there is the database. And so you can see here that there's a level of building blocks. And at the very top, if we were to look, in fact, at those Docker images that I'm pulling in, the ones for, if I go to this file here, for Tudum results demo, you'll see that that in itself is a number of layers. And so we're coming in for a very thin web application at the top. And so that is what's being deployed. And you can see there, it was pretty smooth. The only issue really that I had was that of the pricing configuration. Other than that, everything went as expected. And so this is a pretty easy experience so far. Next thing, as I said, I'm going to look at automated build and automated testing. So that's it for this one.